Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Today we are going to learn about spreadsheet software. Okay. Here see, spreadsheet is also one of the application software. So we are going to learn about it. Right. First of all, we'll look forward. Why do we want these spreadsheet applications? Right? So first thing is we need spreadsheet applications to do our calculations, additions, subtractions, multiplications, divisions. All those calculations can be done by spreadsheet applications. Okay, right. We can create our own formulae and functions to perform automatic calculations on values that can be entered and changed later. Yes, you can create your own formulae and functions here in spreadsheet applications. Okay, right. So once you create your own formulae or functions, they can be changed later. Okay, if you want to change your formula, you can change it at any time. Okay, right. To model financial scenarios and answer what if questions. Yes, spreadsheet applications can be used to form your financial accountings here. Okay, so you can do all your financial you can complete your financial needs using spreadsheet applications. Okay, so and there is another option in spreadsheet application, that is answering what if questions. Okay, if the number is greater than 100, display yes or no. So this is what if question. Okay, so if you apply this condition in spreadsheet, it will answer you. If the entered number is greater than 100, it will show you yes, and if it is not, it will show you no. Okay, so those conditions can be performed by spreadsheet application software. So for example, we have Microsoft Excel in use. Other than that, there are other applications also. Right. So look at this. Here, the main components of spreadsheet applications are marked here. So look at it. Right. Here, see. Here you get the formula bar. Okay. And here you have the cell. Here, these are the cells. The boxes, tiny boxes are the cells. Okay, we call them cells. And this is the column. The vertical thing is the column. Okay, the horizontal one is the row. Okay, this is row and this is column. Okay, so here you have the sheet tabs. Sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and you can create more sheets here. Okay, so this page is now sheet 1. We call this sheet 1. Okay, here see, they have named the cell, selected cell. See, first of all you have to put the alphabet, the capital alphabet D, and the number 8. Okay, so the location of this cell is D8. Okay, so if you consider this location available, the word available is in which cell? Tell me, word available is in which cell, Anatika?
D9.
Available, this one.
Okay.
Which cell, to which cell does it belong to? This one. C?
The C10.
Yes,
C10.
Very good. C10. Okay, right. Now tell me 102. This cell. Name this cell.
Teacher, A4.
A4. Yes. Okay. So this is A4. Right. So you understood how to name a cell. Right. So remember This is called the column and this is called the row. Okay. Did you understand the components here? Other than this, there is formatting toolbar here. Okay, as usual in the Microsoft Word, you have the justification option. You can change the font size, font style, bold, italics, underline. All these things are there. Okay, you can change the color of the font. All formatting things are here. Okay. So there is a menu bar. Okay, you have the file, home, insert, page, layout, formulas, data, review, view, developer. Okay, those things are there in the menu bar. This is title bar where you put a name and save, right? Okay, if you type spreadsheet 1 and save it, it will appear here. Okay, whatever the name you're putting and saving, it will appear in the title bar. Okay, so did you understand these components of spreadsheet applications?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now look at this carefully. Okay, there is a video for you. It is explaining all about spreadsheet software. Okay, after watching that video, we'll be looking about each and every feature of spreadsheet software.
Welcome to this Excel Basics video tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you most of the basics that you need to know in order to get started using Microsoft Excel. And the version of Excel that I'm going to be using in this tutorial is Excel 2016 for Windows. Having said that, if you're using a different version of Excel, maybe an older version or even a newer version, or if you use Excel on a Mac, there will be some slight differences, but for the most part, I would say 95% of what I show in this tutorial will be very applicable to you and your usage of Excel. So I simply clicked the icon here to get started using Excel, and Excel now would like me to make a choice. It wants to know if I would like to open up an Excel template or simply open a...
Yes, you can simply open a blank workbook, or else you can choose any templates here. Okay, so if you need any personal, like here see email insights, cash flow analysis, stock symbols. Okay, if you want these types of templates, you can select from this, or else if you want to make your own document, you can workbook, you can select blank workbook. Okay, Anantika, understood?
Yes.
Right.
Blank workbook. You can see that there are lots of templates to choose from. This is a Welcome to Excel tour, and it's a good way to kind of learn some of the basics of Excel, but that's why you're watching my video, so I'm going to skip that one. There's a cash flow analysis, there's email insights, stock symbols, there's a sales invoice, there's a budget in here. Here it is, a family budget. There's all sorts of great Excel spreadsheets that you can just open up and start changing the data, start using it that way. So I would encourage you to browse and explore these templates that are available to you. In addition to the 30 or so templates that you have here, there is an option to search online templates. So I'm going to do a search for budget, and you can see it comes up with even more budgets. You're not limited just to the one family budget. There's a whole bunch that you can choose from. Over here on the right, there's categories that you can sift through, and you can select the specific kind of budget or spreadsheet template that you would like to use. If you find one that you do want to use, you can just click on it and click create, and it will make a copy of that as a spreadsheet that you can open and use in Excel. So please do spend some time exploring what's available. And in many cases, much of the work is already done for you. You can simply use somebody else's template and adjust it for what you need. Now, templates are very useful. But having said that, I think in order to really learn how to use Excel fully and properly, it's best to start with a blank workbook. So I'm just going to double click on that to select a blank workbook and open it up. And the first thing we need to do is learn about the layout that we have in Excel 2016. There are certain terms that you're going to need to know. First of all, across the top, we have some tabs. Okay, we have the Home tab, the Insert tab, Page Layout, and more, as you can see. Each of these tabs is pretty important. And when you click on a particular tab, it opens up a ribbon. Okay, this is the ribbon for the home tab. If I click the page layout tab, I get the.
So Anantika, these are the tabs, okay? File, home, insert, page layout, formulas, data, review, view. These are the tabs. And when you click on the tabs, you can view the ribbon, right? Okay, this is called what? Ribbon.
Page layout ribbon. Now each ribbon is divided up into groups. So you can see I have a themes group, I have a page setup group, a scale to fit group, and these are all on the page.
So here see, the ribbon is divided into groups. Here see, you can observe a thin line, right? Here. So those are ribbons are divided into groups, okay? Themes, page setup group, scale to fit group, sheet options, arrange, okay?
Layout ribbon. And I get to that ribbon by clicking on the page layout tab. So those are some important terms that you'll need to know. Tab, ribbon, group. And you'll notice in the corner of some of these groups, there's what I like to call a launch button. Okay, so the scale to fit group has a little launch button in the corner. The sheet options group has a launch button in the corner. The arrange group.
So here you get the launch button, okay? So when you click the launch button, what will appear is more details about this page setup, okay? And here when you click this launch button, you will get more details about scale to fit, okay? You will get more options, right?
Doesn't seem to have one. Now, what are these launch buttons? Basically, you can click on those launch buttons to give you even more options. So what Microsoft has done here is they've tried to fit all of the page layout options on this ribbon. But of course, there's a limited amount of geography. There's a limited amount of space that they have to work with. And so sometimes they can fit everything in that little group. Sometimes they can't. And if they can't, there's a launch button that you can click to get even more. So that's why some have a launch button, some don't. Okay, I think it's important to start with that terminology because I'm going to be using it throughout this tutorial. All right, a couple of other layout terms that you're going to need to know. In the spreadsheet itself, this is the spreadsheet, and spreadsheets are made up of columns and rows. Okay, so you can see we have an A column, a B column, C column, etc. And if I browse to the right, okay, you can see that there's even more than that. And if needed, it'll just keep going to the right, adding more and more columns. Okay, once it gets to Z, it goes to AA, column AA. And so lots and lots of columns in this spreadsheet.
So columns are divided starting from alphabets. Okay, alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, like that. It goes until Z. And after Z, you will get AA, BB, CC, DD, like that it will go on. Right, Anantika?
Okay.
M9. And this is I16. Okay. Itself, this is the spreadsheet, and spreadsheets are made up of columns and rows. Okay, so you can see we have an A column, a B column, C column, etc. And if I browse to the right, okay, you can see that there's even more than that. And if needed, it'll just keep going to the right, adding more and more columns. Okay, once it gets to Z, it goes to AA, column AA. And so lots and lots of columns in this spreadsheet. Now, what about rows? I have row number 1, row number 2, row number 3. Okay, so spreadsheets are made up of columns and rows. Now, the intersection of a column and a row is what produces a cell. So this is a cell, and every cell in Excel has a name. Okay, this particular cell is named C2, and you can imagine how I got that name. It's just the intersection of the column and the row. This particular cell here has a name. It's M9. And this is I16. Now, that may seem obvious and unimportant, but it's actually very exciting and powerful that every cell in Excel has a name. Because it has a name, you can describe it. and you can have Excel do certain things with the content in each cell. We'll get to that a little bit later. All right, now in addition to columns, rows, and cells, there's another part of a spreadsheet that you need to know about, and that is a range, okay? Now a range is a group of cells that are together. A range could be this.
Did you understand this, Anantika? Range is a group of cells. When you select more than 2 cells, it will be range, okay? So here he has selected if 4 to what? I5. Okay, right. So if 4 to I5. So that is range.
Could be this. It could be this. It could be any number of things. It's basically a group of cells that are next to each other, that are together. And guess what? Ranges can also be named, just like cells can. So just like this is named L7, I can also name this. Okay, now the way you name a range is you start in the upper left and you name the cell in the upper left. So this is L7, and then you say the word through. So L7 through, and then you say the name of the cell in the lower right, N12. So L7 through N12, that is the name of this range. Now, in the back of your mind, just tuck this piece of information. The way you would write the name of this range is you would write L7 through. The symbol for through is a colon, and then you would put N12. So that is how you would write the name of the range that you see here. Okay, I'm going to tap a...
Here see, L7, you're starting the selection from L7. Then you're ending the selection at where? N12, right? So you will be writing L7 colon, you have to put a colon there, then N12. Understood? L7,
Yes.
then the ending cell, N12. Okay, put a colon and write N12. That is the way of representing a range of cells.
Could be this, it could be this. And guess what? I can also name this. Okay, now the way you name, so this is L7, and then you say the cell in the lower right, N12. So now in the back of your mind, just tuck this piece of information. The way you would write the name, symbol for through is a colon, and then you would put N12. So that is how you would write the name of the range that you see here. Okay, I'm going to tap escape to get out of that because I don't really want to type that in the cell. So that was some background information that you're going to need in order to really use Excel properly. Now that we've talked about the layout of the ribbon and the tabs and the groups and things, and also the spreadsheet itself, with the columns, the rows, the cells, and the ranges. And actually, I should add a couple more. You can see that this is all on a sheet, sheet 1. And I can add a sheet 2, sheet 3, etc. Each of these sheets added together is what creates a workbook. So sheets or worksheets add up to a workbook. Okay, so now that we've got all of that as a foundation for our Excel use, let's now start actually creating and working on an Excel spreadsheet. Now, to make this a little bit more interesting for you to look at, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to use this slider in the lower right corner, and I'll just click and drag to zoom in on my spreadsheet. Okay, so that should be a little bit easier for you to see. And now I'm going to click.
So you have the zoom option, right? On your right-hand corner, you get the zoom option, okay? In both spreadsheet and Word, also you have the zoom option, okay?
On A1 and enter some data in this A1 cell. And just as an example, let's say I want to use Excel to create an inventory of my movie collection. Okay, now this could be anything. If you're a teacher, maybe this is the supplies that you have that you loan out to the students, or if you're a secretary at a school, let's say you're in charge of keeping track of the supplies at the school, whatever it might be. But let's say I want to do an inventory of the movies that I own. First thing I want to do is maybe put a little title in there. So I'm going to type in A1 and I'll type movie inventory. And you'll notice that my text is bigger than the cell itself. It goes too far to the right. But you know what? Don't worry about that.
So when your text is more than the size of the cell, what can you do? You can click here and drag it. Okay, so that you can make your column bigger, right?
Enter or return on the keyboard, and I've successfully entered my first data into this spreadsheet. Now, it looks like these words, movie inventory, are spilling over from A1 into B1, but in actuality, that's not true. It's an illusion. Both of these words are stored in A1. If I click on B1, I could type in B1 and hit return or enter, and you'll notice that movie inventory is still stored in A1. Okay, so they don't interact, they don't interfere with each other. So no need to worry if your text is too wide to fit in A1. But having said that, sometimes making your spreadsheet look nice actually helps you use it better. So let's talk about how I could maybe fix this. It's not really a problem, but how could I fix it if I want to make it look a little nicer? Well, what I can do, I can stretch out any column or even any row if I want to by just putting my mouse between any two column letters. So this is column A, column B. Put my mouse between the two, right on the line or very close to it. And you'll notice that my mouse cursor changed into a double-sided arrow. That's a good sign. So now I can click and drag to stretch that out to make it wider. Now you may have noticed when I entered movie inventory into that cell and I hit enter or return, it automatically moved me down. In Excel, when you tap enter or return, you move down the spreadsheet and it will move up. Okay, so shift enter or want to move to the right. Maybe I want to type something in B1. What I would do is I would tap tab. Tab moves you to the right. So I could enter more text there and then tap tab and enter more text there and just keep tabbing over. What if you want to move left? I bet you can guess what it is. You would hold shift and tap tab. So shift is basically used to do the opposite of whatever it would be otherwise. So enter, return is normally down, but shift and right arrows, you can just use those to move up, down, left, or right. It's a little mouse to click on where you want to go. But I'll tell you, if you can learn to use Excel simply with the keyboard without using your mouse very much, it's click on 8, tab again, rating, tab again, value, tab again, genre, and tab again, location. And that will store quite a bit of information for me about my movie inventory. All right, with that last one, when I hit enter, it moved me down and it moved to the left, expecting me to put in the first record, is what they call it. And the first record would be the first movie. So let's say I put in Star Wars. Again, I could tap tab to move over to the right. I could, and it's located in the living room. Okay, so that's an example of data entry, how you can enter data into a spreadsheet by clicking on a cell or somehow getting on a cell, typing, and then hitting either tab to move to the right or enter to move down. Now, as another example, I'm going to type in another word, and I would like to fix that. Okay, you'll notice that I misspelled empire. If I click on cell A4 to try to fix that misspelling, watch what will happen. As soon as I type, it erases what was there. Okay, the reason why is because when I clicked on that cell, when you click on a cell, anything that you type replaces what is there already. It deletes what's there and then replaces it with whatever you type.
Yeah, what is it? When you're typing, already you have typed title here, and you're again starting with TI. Okay, so the whole word will appear in the cell again. Okay, since you have typed already here, the whole word will appear here. Okay, but you can change it. I'm saying no need to type again and again if you want the same words to appear in the other cells. Okay. Once you start typing, the whole word will automatically appear. If you want that word, you can just enter and go. Okay. If you don't want, you can just type your new word. Okay.
So there's a distinction I need to tell you about. There's a difference between being on a cell and being in a cell. To get in a cell, you have to double click on it. Okay. Notice what happened when I double clicked on that cell. It actually jumped me inside the cell. And now I have a cursor that's flashing. And I can click, or I can use the arrow keys to move that cursor where I want it to be. So there is a big difference between being on a cell and being in a cell. In this case, I don't want to be on the cell. I don't want to replace all of the text in this cell. Again, that may seem like a very small, insignificant thing, but Excel is all about details. And all of these little details will really enhance your use of Excel. So please stick with me and pay attention to these details. And I promise your use of Excel, and then I'll resume the tutorial. Okay, so I've finished putting in some movies here, and some records is what they're called. Each of these rows contains a record. And to help you see this a little bit better, I'm going to zoom back out a little bit so you can see I've put in quite a few movies here. Now, what we need to do next is dress this up a little bit, make it look a little better. It just doesn't look quite right to our eye at this point. So what are some things that we can do to make this look nicer? First of all, here at the top, my title basically of this spreadsheet, it's kind of off to the side and it doesn't have anything that makes it stand out and look different. So I'm going to click on it on the cell, and I'm going to click up here at the top on the home tab and the home ribbon. I can click on bold to give it a bold look. So that will help it stand out. Notice that I can also use the paint bucket tool to paint the background of that cell. I may or may not want to do that. In this case, I don't necessarily want that. So I'm going to click the arrow next to it, and I'm going to go to no fill. I could also change the color of the text itself. Okay, so that is also an option. I'm going to go back to black in this case. In addition, I could italicize or underline. Those are all good options to have. I'm still holding the mouse click, and I'm going to drag until I've covered all of the content of my spreadsheet. So
this is what he is doing is he wants this movie entry, the heading spreaded here. Okay, the heading should appear in the middle. Okay, he wants the heading to appear in the middle. So we have to select all these cells. Okay, so we have to select from A1 to F1, right? So when we do like that, and next one is we have to select the option here, merge and center. Okay, when you click that, this movie inventory will automatically merge in all these cells. Okay, that means merging a cell means merging the cells means all these cells will become only one cell. Look at this.
at column F. I don't have anything beyond that. So I just clicked and dragged to get all the way across. Now watch what I can do. On the home tab, home ribbon, there's a button here in the alignment group called merge and center. And if I click on that, see what it did? It merged all of those cells together. So this is now one big cell. Okay. And it centered it. Okay, so merge and center is very helpful to do what I just did, to basically break down the walls between these cells and make it one big cell, and then to center it. That looks a lot better. The other thing, like I said before, the text not quite fitting in the cell kind of bothers me. So I could go up here to the top, like I showed earlier, and click and drag to make sure everything fits. But I want you to see a shortcut. There's a shortcut to doing this. All you have to do is go up here at the top and just go between any two of the column letters and double click. And if you do that, look what happens. It automatically will perfectly size the column so that all of the text will fit. I could do that also for date purchased and for rating. Now, notice in that case, the rating column actually got narrower. It's because it doesn't need to be longer than what it is now. Okay, so I can do that with value and so forth. Now, let me show you yet another trick that's a little bit of a time saver. Instead of double clicking between every single column one at a time, look what I can do. Click and drag on the column letters all the way across to the end of my data, and then double click between any two of these. It doesn't matter which, double click, and notice now it automatically resized every column. Every column that I had selected was affected by that double click and now is perfectly sized to fit the content that's in those cells. And if I browse back to the left using this slider, you can see everything is perfectly sized. So I used a phrase there. I said everything that was selected, every column that was selected was affected by what I did. In Excel, that's a nice phrase to maybe think about. Select to affect. If you want to affect it, you must select it first. One more little shortcut, little trick. When you click and drag on those column headings, yes, the fastest way to resize is to then double click between any two column letters, but you could alternatively go and look, every single column was affected. Hopefully those, and the idea is to make your data look nice, because when it looks good, it's often easier to read, easier to understand and comprehend. Okay, now there are good reasons sometimes to keep columns narrow, even if all the text doesn't fit. So you don't have to always make sure everything is always visible. You click here on movie inventory, go up and make them bold, and let's say italicized. Now, the way I did that so fast, you may not have noticed, I simply clicked on the row number and it highlighted the entire row all the way to the right. And so that selected it. And then to affect it, I just chose bold and italicize, and it affected everything that's selected. So at this point, I hope that you are familiar now with the different names of the layout in Excel. We know what to call the different things and ranges, sheets and workbook, to affect it, and to change. And I didn't show this explicitly, so let me just quickly do that. Notice that you can affect the rows as well. So I can make rows taller than they would have otherwise been. I can double click between them to perfectly resize. I can affect more than one at a time by selecting more than one row. So all of those same techniques that I showed about the columns can also be used with the rows. So in a future video, I'll show you some intermediate.
So did you understand this basic things about spreadsheet application software? Layout? How do you merge and center? How do you enter data? How do you bold, underline? Okay. All these things, did you understand? You can stretch a column, you can stretch a row. You can form new sheets here. Okay. Understood this one? Hello. Hello. Okay. Hello. Hello. Hello, Anantika. Hello. So the first feature we are going to learn about spreadsheet software is use pivot tables to recognize and make sense of data. Okay, all this time we learned the basic things about spreadsheet application. Okay, now we are going to study how are we going to use pivot tables to recognize and make sense of data. Right.
What pivot tables?
Yes, this is how you have to prepare the pivot tables. Look at this. You have already entered your data and you see this format is here. You have entered the data. You select the data and go to data option. Select pivot table. Okay. Then for the columns, you can select which data should be entered in the column A. So if you select country, all the country names will appear here in column A. Okay. And the next one, you want in the next column, you want the names of years. Okay, so it will appear automatically. Here, see, year. If you select year, automatically the year will appear here, this side. Country and the year. That is pivot tables. Summary of your data. Pivot tables is a kind of summary of your data. First of all, you enter all your data messed up, right? Okay, here and there you enter your data. But here, okay, what is happening is you're arranging all your data according to the alphabetical order. Okay, so that's what happening here in pivot table. Okay, so according to the data, it is arranged properly in pivot table. Carefully look at it. You go to the rows, select country. So country ascending or descending you can select. So if it is ascending, it will be arranged such that starting from A to Z. Okay, and all the data, all the other data is related to that entered here in pivot table. Why do we use pivot table option is, okay, first of all, you enter all your data in messed up, right? Okay, now you want to arrange all those data in ascending or descending order. Okay, so that's why we use pivot table here, right? And here, see, one country's name is appearing several times. Okay, first of all, when you are entering it, one country's name is entered several times. But when you go to pivot table, when you choose the pivot table option and edit, the country's name is entered only once. Okay, not more than once. Understood? Here, see, first in your data, the country's names are entered more than once. So in pivot table, you can reduce that amount of data. Okay. The second feature is add more than one row or column. Okay. If you want to add more than one row or more than one column, you can do it in spreadsheet application. Here, see, first of all, you have to select where do you need the column. So you can insert a column on your right or insert a column on your left. Okay. Likewise, you can insert a row above or insert a row below. Okay. First of all, you have to select where do you need the column or the row. Understood? Select, right click. Okay. When you select the column, you can right click. Okay. So after right clicking, you have to select either you want the column in left hand side or right hand side, or the row in row above or below. Right? Clear?
Okay.
The next third feature. Use filters to simplify your data. Okay. Now, once you enter all your data, you can do filtration. Filtration in the sense, like you want one person's detail separately. You can do that. Okay. Or you want only the maximum amounts to appear in your data sheet. So you can do that. Okay. So you can filter your data according to your wish. Here, see, there is an option called filter under data tab. Okay, using this feature you can filter it. Okay, you can filter you can arrange your data in ascending order or descending order. Okay, if you want only Gryffindor to appear, here see, only Gryffindor name is appearing after filtration. Here see, you want only Gryffindor to appear, so only it is appearing. If you select your data, go to data tab and select filter option, you will get these arrows in the cells. Okay, so you have to click that arrow and you can select your wish here. Okay, how do you want to filter it? Okay, you can filter by color also. You can select color here. Okay, if you want Gryffindor to appear in red, you can select color. Understood?
Yes.
Fourth one, remove duplicate data points or sets. Sometimes when you're entering a lots of data, lots and lots of data, okay, more than thousands of data, some data points might be entered duplicate, double times, right? Okay, twice you might have entered your data. Okay, so duplication of data can be removed by spreadsheet application very easily, right? So here, see, select the column where you should remove the duplicates. Then go to data option in the tab, select remove duplicates. So only once they will appear. Understood?
Yes.
The fifth feature, is rows into columns. Here, see, rows can be transposed into columns. Here, all these data should be copied. You want all this data to copy into another column. Okay, so what you should do is you have to select all those data and select where you want to copy it. So here it is copied here, no? So first of all you have to select, then click on copy, paste special, then you can paste it here. Understood?
Yes.
Here, first of all, you have to select copy, Anantika, as usual. Then you can paste it, right? Don't just paste it. You have to select paste special option. Here, see, you have to click this arrow and you will see there is an option called paste special. Okay. So you have to select paste special and then transpose. Click on transpose, then click OK. Then only the whole data will be transposed here nicely without any errors. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. So here, see, and another thing you have to notice this one, name, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 are appearing this side. And Amy, Tony, Saint, Michael, Janet, those are appearing this side in row. So can you see that? Look at it carefully. See, those are appearing in the other way, right? Rows are appearing in the columns and columns are appearing in the rows. Understood? Now, you are entering a full name. Okay, in the first column, you are entering the full name. Okay, we'll say Pereira Anita. So there will be a space, right? Between the two names, there will be a space. Okay, that is a full name, Pereira Anita. Okay, so you want Pereira to appear in one cell and Anita to appear in another cell. Okay, so no need to delete and type it again. What you can do it, you can select the whole cells with the names and go to go to data, separator. There is an option called separator. You see, go to data. There is a split text option is there. So you can split the text. You see, split text columns option is there. So you can split the text according to the space. Here, the space is given in the text, right? So according to the space, these words are separated in the columns. Understood?
Okay.
Okay. So if you have put some commas, also you can separate according to the commas. say you have entered in cell A, apple, banana, orange, mango, like that, putting commas, you have entered everything in column A. Okay. So what you can do it, you want to now separate the fruits into each cell. So what you can do, you can go to data, right? And split text to columns. Here you have to select comma option. So when you select comma option, according to your commas, all the fruits will be separated into each cell. Understood?
Yes.
The seventh one. Use these formulas for simple calculations. So, you know, formulas can be used in spreadsheet software, right? If you want to add, you have to type this formula equal which cells you want to add. You have to select those cells and close brackets. Okay, you can insert brackets here, here, and here. You can insert brackets. Okay, so here addition is made with multiplication. Multiplication is mentioned with a star point. Here E2 plus E3 into E4. So after entering, when you press enter, you will get the value of the amounts. Understood?
Yes.
Next one. Get the average of numbers in your cell. So how do you find out the average? Average. Say you have the marks of 5 subjects. So what will you do? You will add the marks of 5 subjects and divide it by 5. Isn't it?
Yes.
Divided by the number of data. So here see, equal, there is an option called average. So no need to add, then divide here. Okay, just type equal average and select which numbers, which values you want to find the average. Okay, so equal average, from here to here you want to find the average. So select from here to here. Okay, within brackets, then close the bracket, press enter, you will get the average automatically. Okay, Excel will help you to find the average easily. Understood?
Yes.
Use conditional formatting to make cells automatically change color based on data. So as I told you before, you can format your cells by including colors. Okay, you want the highest number in red color, you can select that. Okay, highest value in red, so lowest value in yellow. So those options can be selected here in conditional formatting option, right? In the ribbon you will find conditional formatting, so you can select and choose your own colors, right? The next one. Use if-then Excel formula to automate certain Excel functions. Okay, so as I told you, you can answer what if questions with spreadsheet applications. Okay, what if questions. So if then, here see, if sum D2 to D10 is greater than 4,000, say yes, or else no. Here see, look at this carefully. If bracket open, sum this cell to this cell, close brackets, greater than 4,000, comma, within double inverted commas, you have to enter yes, comma, within double inverted commas, no. Here, within double inverted commas, yes, comma, within double inverted comma, no. That means if it is greater than 4,000, yes. If it is less than 4,000, no. Understood? No will appear.